organization is not measured by whether or not they have conflicts, but by the way they manage them. So yeah, I think that it's the culture that we have been working on, um, and that's why we need to have conflict management, because it's very easy that we have conflict and we all have feelings, and we all have different way of managing feelings. Sometimes when we have feelings and we are hot-minded, maybe we talk more than what we should talk, or maybe someone didn't have any connection to what happened, and maybe because of our feelings we could have a negative reaction to someone. And yeah, it's just a learning process that we all are having, and also that we are building a culture. And I think that the culture is not something that is once done and and then is finished. I think that culture is something that we are continuously building, and we are continuously building yeah, a culture that is resilient and resistant to its complexities. But yeah, I want to now tune a little bit into this call, and there are some topics I wanted to cover. Well, first, yeah, everyone, please update your D work. Link the wallet you want to use to claim the funds, and update your username. I will share these notes in the Gravity text channel. And here's the invite link for the D work. It's really important to update your username and to link the wallet. So everyone can take some time to do this. I pasted the link for this document in the Gravity text channel. And there was also some update according to the roles, specifically the coordination manager role. I want to give the space to Morgan, that they said and expressed some concerns about being able to commit to that role. So yeah, I want to open the space for you to express, and also um, that it would be really cool if in this call we can then try to have one or two new people interested into this position, and try to yeah fill it, so that we can continue the plan of operations that we had.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take that as an invitation. Yeah, one.
Yeah, please.
Cool. Um, yeah, so here, I'll turn my video on. If my computer will let me. There we go. Yeah, at the time when applications came out for this role, I sensed that I had a lot more space in my life to be able to give the full scope of the coordination manager roles. And what's shown since application to receiving the position, and maybe like a week or so after, is that I really don't have the space to give the kind of quality of care to that position that I would like to, and wanted to be able to express that before we got all the way started, so that those roles could be divvied up between folks that have time and space to be able to collaborate on them. I'm unsure, Wanka, if it might be helpful, since you're streaming right now, if you'd be open to pull up the description of the position, and then we can kind of like look at the role scope together. So for me, I think that the core passions of the position that have felt like I still want to be collaborative on um, is uh, around organizing working group activities and be a part of the uh, through line of how we're developing the graviton training. Also really interested in like facilitating skill groups. The overarching coordination piece and keeping everybody kind of on the same page for communication is the scope of the work that I feel like is outside of my capacity right now. So that's kind of an intro to the to where I'm at. Open to questions and also curious within the group right now of these roles that are listed in the Graviton Coordination Manager, if any of them feel appealing to folks. I know I've been in conversation with Bianca, and she definitely has interest as long as there's support. And yeah, I'll take a pause there.
Great, perfect. Yeah, I would also like to hear Bianca how she feels with this. I feel that we can come stronger out of this. And for sure, Morgan, you're welcome to contribute the ways that you feel that is best for you. And also, Bianca, I know you've been wanting to have more involvement and more participation. So I am also happy to see this interest, and also I would like to propose myself for that role, since it's also something that I have been doing more or less until this point, and yeah, I felt initially that I could give a step back, and that gravity with the structure um, like naturally, but now I feel that I still need to be in a position of coordination, at least for some months more. So that when we really give that next step of decentralization, like we are more, our processes are more polished, and all of our structures are more solid and constructed.
Yeah, I think stewarding that transition, like scaffolding that transition, I think is a really beautiful thing that we can work on together. Because I'm sure there's things that you still have only in your brain, Juan, that aren't on any public forum for us to know about, that we probably need a little bit of a tutorial on how to access, coordinate, put together, all that jazz. Um, yeah. Bianca, would you want to maybe put some voice to the things that you're drawn to that we've talked about, or more that you've come up with since we talked?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, when I was talking to Morgan about it, I was telling them that I will be open to, contributing and trying to help the coordinator. Um, so I think that I can like do something about it. Like I can still be the assistant, like the coordinator assistant. If he wants the coordinator manager, something like that, I can help with it.
Yeah, I feel good with this, like maybe me being the coordination manager, and having you as a coordination assistant. I feel this would be really good. And also, yeah, at some point I felt like gravity could walk on its own, but now I am willing and with the best disposition to continue growing this project until the point it truly can decentralize. Um, Also, I want to confirm scheduling. We said we will do a doodle, but I think that could actually be easier if we can coordinate in these calls. And the proposed schedule was Tuesdays practice groups, Wednesdays coordination calls, and Thursdays book clubs or role plays. So I also think that more or less we have had like certain inertia with the scheduling. So yeah, I think like this hour could be good for the practice groups. The that is this hour is 2 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. CT. Wednesdays the coordination calls. Um, I am proposing them to be at 11 a.m. EST, 5 p.m. CT.
What about having it at the same time as the orientation call? Or do the people plan on this call attend the orientation call also? So then we have like all the, we'll have one call after call.
So you say before orientation call?
I mean, at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just suggesting. I think that's something we should all agree. But I think that's a good timing. So we have all the calls one after the other, and we don't have like empty hours.
I cannot do that time, but that's just me.
I like one hour in advance because I would also like to join more orientation calls. Um, yeah, even though it's for new people, there's always good to have some already um, experienced people in the call. So yeah, I am proposing this hour. Besides SEPTI, any other one thinks that there should be other time. This would be 11 a.m. EST, 5 p.m. CET.
Depending on what comes up in the coordination calls, Zepti, I think it'd be kind of cool for those of us that might not go to orientation. We could have like maybe a little bit like a working hour of anything that came up in the coordination call that morning during orientation. Bianca, what is your availability on Wednesdays outside of, can you make it if it's at this early?
Let me just check here really quick. Yeah, I can. I can do before orientation call.
Okay.
Okay. So I will be saving this time. Gravity coordination call for Wednesdays. Um, yeah, 11 a.m. EST, 5 p.m. CT. 5 p.m. CT. And the book clubs and role plays will be continued at this hour that are 3 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. CT. EST, p.m.
8 p.m. CET,
8,
right?
yeah. 8.
Actually, 8 p.m. is the community call.
Yeah, it would be 9.
It's 1 hour later.
Yeah, 9. Perfect. Okay. Also, Lean and Jeremy wanted to share their proposal for their liberating structures. They said they wanted to have like some minutes to make like a workshop. And also, my question would be: are we ready to start on the 15th? If you need 1 week more, we could start on the 22 of on the on the 22 of February. So yeah, I wanted you to not have any rush or any pressure, and yeah, just to know if you feel comfortable and how prepared do you feel? Yeah, I want to give you that space.
Sorry, I was on mute. I can make a tiny intro. Um, I've yeah, for me, I don't know for you, Jeremy. For me, it would be fine to start next week with the first session. We had two brainstorms, Jeremy and I, on how to make a fusion between deep democracy and liberal structures. Um, the idea that we have is to make the practice group a really practical work group where we would introduce one or two techniques depending on the week to the people that want to join. We also had the idea, working on your feedback, that it would be a good idea to make isolated uh, sessions so that people wouldn't, that you could join one week, but if it didn't work the other week, that would be completely fine. On the other hand, we would also like to start next week with a container building session with a bit of a deeper check-in wave. It's a deep democracy technique, very much related to liberating structures. I wrote a tiny introduction. They are very, very much the same thing or aiming for the same things. So maybe we can start with a container building and build a bit of a trust group there, doing a welcome word and setting up some safe and brave space rules. But for that, and then we would the next week we would really start with some tools, right? So the first week we would use to sort of build a container, and then from the next. But if you're a little bit familiar with liberating structures or deep democracy, it can sometimes trigger some feelings in people, or it can bring up some emotions, and especially in the check-in way, for example, it can go quite deep. And that's why we wanted to ask the gravitons, the active gravitons, to actually be our safety net. So in case people bump into a wall, or feelings are triggered, and we cannot face them or deal with them in the session, that they can have some people that they can contact, a safety net, a safe space call, that we can guide them to some help, that we don't have to just, and it would be good maybe to have a list of people where we can direct them to, like, hey, it's okay, we got this, we got your back. You can contact Morgan, for example, or voila. And Jeremy had an amazing idea to maybe set up a tiny exercise here to sort of build that safety net with one of the liberating structures techniques. I hope that was a good intro, Jeremy, and that I didn't forget anything.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. So for the purpose of providing this safety net, there is one structure in particular called helping heuristics that is a very, very low, extraordinarily low barrier to entry sort of meta structure for a very simple coaching conversation. So should we pop into some special feelings that need a space, helping heuristics can offer a baseline structure on how to go about it. And I don't actually know if we want to take time to do that now. I might have a particular proposal that is that maybe to use the space tomorrow that we've just sort of earmarked. That may be a better opportunity to do so. Because I also do have a question about the intended purpose of these practice groups. Since what we're going to be offering is actually of quite meaningful value, this practice space, there is an opportunity to use it as an attractor to draw people into the TEC. And my question is, to what extent do we want to lean into that opportunity, or do we want to say, actually, this is more of a for us, by us thing, just to build trust within it? So both of those are obviously perfectly acceptable, and reasonable people can disagree. So I have a question for that advice process. Which direction might we want to lead into? Who's got feels?
I have a response. I haven't been able to see everybody else's face, so I don't know if I'm the only one.
Please give me your information, Morgan.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm curious, where are you geographically? I've been trying to place you in my world map of everybody that participates in the call.
Yeah. So I have the Seattle West Coast accent, but I'm in Amsterdam.
You're in Amsterdam. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think as far as sustainable growth goes, something that I know I've observed and I've heard from other folks who've participated in the Graviton trainings is that we've taken on a lot of downloads and we haven't had a lot of space for relational practice to be able to create that social fabric and interconnectedness amongst us. And I think we're only going to be able to have the resources and capacity to do outreach once we've done that inner building. So my impulse would be that we practice with one another so that as we grow as an organization, we've already got that on lock, and that we're just continuing to reinforce over time.
Cool. Does anybody recognize that sentiment that Morgan brings in?
Yeah, I also agree that we have been talking a lot about the theory, about what does conflict mean, about what is conflict transformation, but we need more ground action. And I feel that these practices could be very interesting. And to answer the question of which direction do we want to go, I think that it's really important that we can onboard people in the TEC by joining the Graviton trainings, but also that we can recognize that there will be people joining from other communities and that our participation in those other communities may be more limited. So also to the people that participate in the Graviton trainings and that comes from another community, our invitation would be not only to join to the TC, but for them to bring conflict management into the agenda of their organization.
Thank you, Anka. Anybody else?
I like the idea of what Morgan said, really building, using these tools ourselves internally, building that fabric and the relationships here and doing that. But I don't think we should, exclude anyone. And then as far as I think, Wonka, we're kind of angling towards kind of being a little bit independent eventually from TEC. That's kind of the feel I got. So, I mean, I like the idea of building these connections internal to us and that within our group, but not being exclusionary. But then also if they're interested in TEC, we can guide them that way. But then also kind of maintain this track where we're kind of angling for an independent group that would be Gravity, an independent DAO. I don't know if that made any sense.
Let me check. Sorry, let me see if I got you. So the overarching sentiment that I got from what you just shared is it feels more right to make this a practice space for us as gravitons, but also in the TEC itself, versus throwing a big beacon up and saying, "Hey, everybody, come join this space." Did I get that part correct?
Yeah, and maybe I mean I think you and Lean are more heading up like the practice groups, but I mean maybe that's a good way to even get a feel for like how we're running those, is like, and if other people want to come, I don't think we should like limit it to us, obviously, but like I don't know, that's kind of your call too, if you want to put out that big gravity bat signal and invite everyone, or start smaller and kind of build that internal trust and get a feel for like what we're doing. But at the same time, that might feel a little bit exclusionary, and that's kind of against like our ethos of like being so radically open too. So I guess I'm not really arguing one way or another. I'm just kind of putting out those thoughts.
Well, thank you for your information. Is there anybody who has a difference from what they've heard so far? I'm curious.
Jeremy, can I ask a question, please?
Of course.
Thank you. I know very little at all about liberating structures. I would like to kind of have a short understanding of what it is and who would be interested. Within gravitons, even, what I understand, it's probably to do with conflict management. But in particular, what would someone be looking for in order to say, "Oh yes, I need to go. I need to go and attend and listen to that"?
That is a super valid question. An elevator pitch for liberating structures is really hard, but let me try. Let's see. Liberating structures are microstructures for interactions. So I consider them tools for shared thinking. So how do we sort of network our brains together so that we can think together about some specific topic or invitation? At their most simplest, liberating structures are sort of a melange. Let me grab my visuals here. They are an arrangement of space, an invitation, a particular prompt or question that sparks the interaction. They distribute participation, and they have an allocation of sort of specific steps and time related to those steps. And then a configuration as far as groups. So these are the 5 like really critical elements of liberating structures. You'll notice that if you're Wonka showed the website earlier, that's the basic elements, right? How do you configure groups? What are the steps? How do you spread participation out over those groups? How do you arrange the space? And what's a direction to spark the interaction? And they're good for doing a lot of things. Like I said, shared thinking, so any form of distributed cognition. And they have a very, very wide application. So that's what makes it really hard to say what they're good for. But anytime that you are, and this is the hard part. So this most simple concrete explanation is they're like super, super, super simple facilitation techniques that anybody can use regardless of whether or not they have a background in facilitation. But like I said, they're also thinking tools. So I use them to organize my thoughts all by myself. Because if they can organize more than one person's thoughts also need organized, right? You have a brain, you know how this works, right? So that's the sort of nuts and bolts of what liberating structures sort of do. And they all do that. They are specifically, Wonka is showing this liberating structures menu. There are 33 initial tools that are sort of in the canon of liberating structures that that have been officially vetted as very, very good tools to do a whole shit ton of things. And so there is the trick of learning liberating structures is figuring out, just like if you opened up your, when the first time I opened up my dad's toolbox, what does this one do? What might I use it for? Right? Well, that's a hole punch, son. You can use that to make a divot, and then you get going, right? And so, much like using those tools, a very hands-on approach is probably best. So this thing that I'm doing right now, liberating structures, is a very limited utility. I would say if you're slightly curious about this, show up to the practice session, and that'll be way more value than me yammering on about it for the rest of forever. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think these tools are super interesting, and we're doing this because we want to give gravitons like different toolings for how to manage a situation, how to facilitate a conversation, how to manage a conflict, because maybe I feel more comfortable with one framework than with other, and the idea for each of you is to choose which tools do you feel more comfortable, to see which can be the ways you approach your facilitation, and also not bringing just one size fits all tool, but like different toolings. And also, I think from these practice groups, we can have like when once we finish seeing the tools, we can even make like a portfolio of the tools that Gravity like somehow certifies, and continue bringing training and education to our facilitators in these tools.
I think I might have beat you there. So I uploaded a couple images in the text channel that gives some very basic overviews. I think that 2x2 matrix is very, very explanatory. Wonka, I don't know if you can show that, but it's in the text channel. So
Yeah.
if you consider what liberating structures do, they are in a class unto themselves as far as distributing control of conversations, and at the same time maximizing participation in conversations.
Yeah, this is really nice, and I am super excited, Jeremy and Lynn, for these sessions. I also want to profit that Acid Laser is here, and he is someone from the comms team, and he's also in charge of some designs and communications. So if we are ready to start on the 15th, it would be really cool if we can have like um, infographics, invitations. So yeah, let's talk to him to see what does he need to produce this content, and also if all of we agree that we should start the 15th, or you think that we should start the 22nd of February. Yes,
Can
Lynn.
I ask? Yeah, can you hear me? Because I get some messages that my sound is a little bit weird, but okay, you can hear me. It's cool. Just yeah, maybe to link a little bit, Juan, what you said, and what Ben said. Maybe for this round of practice groups, if we are also looking a little bit for which tools work in the TC and working towards a toolbox, it might not be a bad idea to indeed limit, quote quote limit, because I think TC is a big community, but to sort of do a practice round only within TC. And it's not that other people are not welcome from other communities, but maybe we can, for the next 6-7 weeks, practice just within this community and not go too wide, because it will already be complex with people joining one time and not another time. If we also take in people from outside, it's going to add to the complexity. So maybe we can just slowly grow into it. and test it and get a lot of feedback from the people following these practice groups. Or what did this tool do for you? Was it useful? How can you use it in your own circles and teams, and then grow from there a little bit. Yeah, as a suggestion.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, yep. I think what I wouldn't like is maybe if we don't have so much engagement, and I wouldn't like to have like an empty call. That would be sad. But to have like at least a group of 10 to 20 people that would be participating in these practice groups, and that's why maybe if in the TEC we don't have enough quorum, maybe we can go outside. But I think like if in the TEC we reach that quorum at least of 10 people, then we can do that of like first testing inside and receiving feedback before going to other spaces.
I think Bianca wants to add something.
Yeah, yes, something. Because what I was understanding before is that, like, as Morgan said, that we already did a lot of theoretical during the gravity training, and now like we need more practice, and to do that during the practice group time. So I think it would make more sense for people who are already a graviton.
Okay. Okay, so our objective would be the people who already participated in the Graviton training.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know that we need to like gate it, based on that. I think if we just like don't blast it out on social media and things like that, not as many people show up. But if someone does, it's fine. We can, welcome them and do whatever we need to do. But yeah.
So what I think is that maybe we should do some publications in Twitter, or maybe have some infographics done, and post them in Gravity, but also in the TEC. I think like as we are making this a week in advance, maybe too much people won't be able to come. But if we share it in our channels, at least I think like we can gather 10 to 20 people. And our main objective will be people who has already participated in the graviton trainings, but we will not limit that to also for people who is interested in coming. Yes, Morgan, sorry.
Yeah, is there a way that we can do some direct communication to like Graviton graduates? I know that there's a handful of them in my life that aren't really active on Discord, but they loved their experience in the training. They'd probably receive a DM more easily than like noticing anything on Twitter. Have a listing of everybody that we could communicate that easily with?
We have the Discord of everyone, but um but we should like take the logistics to invite them. But like here we have the name of all the people, and we could like reach out to all of them.
Are these
But
all in a folder that we have mutual access to?
yes, this is the one where we had like the POAPs, and here there's like everyone and their handles. But the thing is that I am not really good at like messaging, so that's why I prefer Twitter, because it's like once and then who sees it sees it. I understand this is like a more targeted communication, but yeah, it's not what it's like more comfortable for me. But if you want to help me with this, of reaching out to the gravitons, that would be super cool. We even have a list, a document where there are all the gravitons from the first and the second trainings.
I can send them a direct message on Discord, like individually, and inviting them to come to the practice group, saying like, "Hey, so um, here's Bianca from Gravity, and you are a graviton. You completed a training, and we are inviting you to come to this practice group. It's gonna be on Tuesday, and blah blah blah."
Okay.
Right? I think it might be. I can do it. Like it can be easy.
Thanks, Bianca. I think that would be super helpful. I sent you the image,
Okay.
uh, this image that I am presenting, and if you don't
Those,
find,
those aren't the Discord handles, though.
yeah, yeah, I will help you with some of the Discord handles.
Okay. Did we ever got the pop from Graviton
No,
training? Like
no, we don't, like it's been a long duty. I am sorry. Um, I think we can give it at any moment. It will be like a retroactive pop for last year, but yeah, we can do that. It's been very chaotic these last weeks, and a lot of things done, but I think that we are moving, and also that it's not easy to build a structure and to create a group like in 1 month, but it's a beautiful challenge that we're having. um,
I was gonna say I don't know how to get a pop, but I could distribute the link with the message, but I don't know how to create it.
it's super simple, really. It's super simple to create the POAPs. It's just I think I can open here. It's like admin.poap. Yeah, here. And here you like create a new POAP, and then like the description. You select the picture, and you click save, and you created a POAP. So creating a POAP, it's really super simple. The hard task is distribution. So yeah, it's what we should be working on, maybe for the future training, like to improve on distribution. Um, I wanted to share two small things for wrapping this call. One is yeah, to remind an invitation to a panel about conflict management in DAOs that will start after this call. I will be joining, and also Livy and Lowy will be there. So it's an invitation from the Gitcoin community. And also, yeah, other thing that I wanted to share is that I was participating in a hackathon this weekend, and we are building a tool to sign legal contracts. So this could be also like a future iteration that we can use Gravity. And it's not something that it's done. It's just like a first um, like proposal, but it's to say that we are not only trying to improve our cultural activities and our educational activities, but also the legitimacy and the structures that will be supporting the agreements. And the other topic that I wanted to share is that innovators said had some ideas about having pinned message. So maybe what would be like the most relevant links to have pinned in the channel?
Ooh. I think I would love to be able to have access to the wherever all of the Graviton documents are. So like all of those like Excel spreadsheets of who's graduated. I think that'd be super helpful. The DWork link. Those feel like the two top priority. Oh, and a clarifying question for Bianca, who's wanting to help out with the POAP distribution. Who has the image of the last year's POAP?
Acid Laser did it. He's here, and you can contact him for any of this. But also I have it, so I can also share it with all of you. The one that is animated.
Yeah, fancy.
The one that is right.
Yeah, the one that wrote.
If you can send it to me, I can try to get the pop.
Yeah. Teamwork.
And I will send with the message that I'm already gonna send for everybody.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this one. I will also share it with you, Bianca.
I actually want to share. I don't know, Juan, if Nate contact you, but he's building a Gitbook to get all these spreadsheets and all the documents that the working groups are using, and maybe we could also have this updated so all the gravitons could just check this section of the gravity in that Gitbook TC source, and yeah, then all the documents are there. I also built with Rochelle about a Treasury doc.
Yeah, sorry, Septi. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, would you like to present that?
Yeah, I mean, I can quickly share it and also drop the link. But yeah, it's a pretty simple document. That's the same that Common Stack is using, and then I just put like like we put the data in here. Like this is our inflows. Is this is fair. I mean, this is real. The proposal on the TC 51K. Then we type here the outflows, and then we have automatically a summary for inflows and outflows. And yeah, we can see all our budget here, and then we can see like our monthly expenses, and then our remaining balance and total outflow. So it's like a quick thing to do, like to get transparency around how we are using the funds. And yeah, actually what I was planning with it is like every time, because I don't know how DWork is going to present the data, but every time like we pull the button to send funds on the multisig, we just put the data in here so we can check it at any time. And yeah, I think it's pretty simple but efficient. I don't know if you guys would add something else. Just tell me and I add it.
I think this is super cool, Septi. And I think it's also super interesting that we start with some tool as robust as this one, even before receiving the funds, because we really want to make like the best usage, and that will be done with transparency, with information access, and yeah, I also feel that we have the responsibility of the best usage of these funds, because we are having trust and support from the community. So yeah, I think that that part of managing the funds will be also something that, if we do well, can have a good reputation for us, for not only the TC but other communities in the space. So I think it's a super important topic.
I have a curiosity. Does our proposal need any I guess say like augmented support in the garden, or is it doing okay? I know I can't vote yet, so I'm like hoping folks who can are like rocking it.
We need 94k more, so rock the boat.
But
And I
also,
curiosity, what happens if do we have a timeline in which it needs to pass? Like it can just stay there for as long as it needs to until it passes. Okay.
also like as before we had different votes, like some people had like their voting power split on different proposals. But now that we only have two proposals, maybe we can place more voting power in each of them. And also, like I know that yeah, as there were people that were passing like the stewards proposal, maybe they have voting power available, but they haven't voted for it. So it's also like a continuous activity to always promote participation um, on and support on our gardens proposal.
I think it's nice to promote it on the community call, like in 2 days.
Yes. Um, we are getting on in the top of the hour. You know that we will have a conflict management for DAO's event. So yeah, let's continue seeing there. And for those of you who are interested, maybe we can have the coordination call tomorrow and continue polishing some of the topics that we had pending this time. I will send the calendar invite to Septi to see if he can reproduce it in the TEC one.
Are people available for Thursday as well for brainstorming?
Yeah.
For the book club hour until we have a book club?
Yeah. I was gonna ask who wants to do the next book club.